Let us first check the configuration of a Windows device before the deployment of the configuration to this Windows device. I go to the settings app and show you the gaming. The gaming settings are available. Gaming is turned on. Through the Windows configuration profile in Intune, we will control this and disable the gaming on this Entra ID joined Windows device, because this is for the work or school accounts purpose. We do not want the gaming to be here. Some personalization configuration settings. For an instance, I want to deploy the personalization configurations for the start or taskbar or font. Here we will use the show recently added apps, show most used apps, and show recently opened items in start menu and jump list and file explorer, controlled through the Intune configuration profile deployed to this Windows device. Right now, the two settings are already turned on. I will turn on this show most used applications as well. Then we will see disabling these settings from the Intune configuration profile for Windows. Apart from this, we will configure a few more settings like privacy and security configuration, let's say for Windows security. And for this Windows security, we can configure the antivirus, browser, or firewall or network protection related configurations. In the demonstration, I will be using the Windows security to exclude some of the scans for some of the devices. You will notice here that we have app permissions that we also can control from here, location, camera. There are many other settings that we can configure from here. Let us go back to the privacy and security and configure the Windows security. If I open this and show you the Windows security settings for virus and threat protection, I will be using. For this, I will open the Windows security, or I can click on this virus and threat protection. Once I open this, then I have configurations that I can control for the OneDrive or for account protection. So these different settings we can do. Under the virus and threat protection, we have something called manage settings. I will click on this and will show you the few settings here like real-time protection, cloud delivered protection. These settings are already turned on. And if I scroll down, I can see the controlled folder access. At the bottom, we have exclusions where I can add few files or folders that I want to be excluded. They must not be scanned. So add or remove the items that you want to exclude from the Defender antivirus scan. And right now there is nothing in this. That we will control through Intune remotely. Well, this is the current configuration of this Windows device that we are going to control remotely through the Intune configuration manager. I will now log into the Entra portal. On this server, I already have the Entra portal opened. I will go to the Intune Admin Center and not the Entra, actually from Entra devices we can see. So for configuration manager, I'm into the the Intune Admin Center. Yeah. So this is the Seattle Workstation 1 device, which is managed by Intune. This was enrolled in the previous exercise. Now, if you have not watched my previous videos, please do watch them and subscribe the channel for the latest updates. And here you will notice that we have the devices that we can manage by Windows. By the platform we can see them. They are listed. We have organized the devices, manage updates, different sort of configurations. What we are looking for currently is managing the devices using the configuration. So we have configuration, compliance, different types of profiles we can create. I will go to the configuration, and by default you will see that there is no configuration profile over here because this is a setup from scratch we are doing. I will create a new policy, or I can import the policies. We have the option to import the ADMX templates. Then I will go to the platform and choose the platform which is Windows 10 or later. This configuration profile we are creating for Windows 10 and or later we will see iOS. Now settings catalog, properties catalog, or template. So I'm picking up an existing template for Windows 10 and later, and this is for some sort of device restrictions I want to do. So they have been classified. These templates will let you do the configuration easily because as the term suggests template, so there are many things pre-configured in these templates. Now I name this as Contoso Developer Standard. I want that the Contoso developer users using the devices, they should have some sort of restrictions on those devices I want to control. Now I will click on next after providing this configuration profile a name. Now based on the template, these settings have appeared. It is not like that you will have to have used them as it is. You can change these settings as per your requirement. For an instance, I have expanded this control panel and settings, wherefrom I can manage the lots of things, be it system apps, devices, ease of access, privacy. You see gaming is there, which is right now not configured. In case I want to block the games, then I can click on block. I mean, this is the toggle button. So I can go with block. We have many other settings, region settings, system time modifications. If you are an Intune administrator, then you can spare time on these settings. To keep the video short, I will be doing it for games. Rest you see that for printers, privacy, and for lots of things, display, general settings are there, locked screen experiences there, messaging. This is the most time consuming part in the Intune administration, you can say, where you have to carefully curate your profile for the requirement of your business. Then I have blocked the gaming and privacy in this control panel item settings. So when I will be going to the settings app, I will not see the gaming and the privacy over there. Then I want to configure any other settings. I can do that for the control panel from here under the device restriction. We have many other options. This is the scroll bar, vertical scroll bar you can use to scroll to the settings. As you see, apps, accounts, time and language, system time modifications. You can pause the video and have a look to these different settings, and settings are self-explanatory. They have an exclamation mark right after them where you can hover over your cursor and see that what this setting is all about. We have settings for app store, cellular and connectivity, cloud and storage, cloud printer, or control panel settings we are already inside. Well, I will collapse this control panel and settings, and I want to configure a few other settings, then be it personalization, be it start related settings for personalization I want to do. So there are tons of settings available here. Network proxy, password. Let us see start, and in the start I can see the start menu layout, what sort of layout I need, pin websites to title in start menu. So you can use these settings. There are many other settings. You can use this scroll bar to scroll up and down to see these settings. You can work with these. Apart from that, you see search, reporting, telemetry related settings are there. We have power settings for power profiles to manage. I want to control the start of the devices. So there we see the start setting. Let me go back to the start and I will expand this, and here is the start menu layout. There are settings for lock, app list. What I want to configure is the most used apps, recently added apps, and the recently opened items in the jump list. The configuration I was showing you earlier in this video. Rest we have sign out, sign in, shutdown, sleep, hibernate, switch account related options, that how do you want to configure them, and videos on start, music on start, home group on start, document. There are tons of settings inside it. Well, I will be configuring the three settings that I was showing you earlier. Recently opened items in jump list, and recently added apps and most used apps. I do not want them to be displayed in the start. Then once I have done this setting, I can define the other settings, be it Microsoft Defender Antivirus I want to configure, I want to do real-time monitoring, behavioral monitoring, I want to do such settings or not. Then scan all downloads, catch up quick scan, catch up full scan. We have lots of settings here. And here I will be excluding some of the files, one of the location that I want to add as an exclusion into the list for this Microsoft Defender Antivirus. You will see this option at the very end of this window. Now here I will go with the file and folder and will enter a location that is the file or folder that I want to be excluded from the scan by the antivirus. So this is C dev projects. The process also that I do not want to scan, I can enter over here, be it file extensions like .jpeg file or .txt files that I do not want to scan. So I can put those settings as per my requirement into this Windows configuration profile. Next thing is the assignment, that where this profile will be effective. For this we have two options, include the groups and exclude in case you want to exclude any group. Right now I don't have any group to assign, so I will create one group where I will put that Seattle Workstation 1 machine where I want these settings to be applied, and will do the assignment of this configuration profile on that. If you have already strategically created those groups, then you could have selected a group in that include list. Well, I'm creating a group into the Intune, so I'm going to the groups blade where I will create a group, security group, and I will provide this group a friendly name, Contoso Developer Devices, group description. So this is as per the scenario we wanted that Contoso developers will have some sort of restrictions defined by Intune on their devices. This is assigned, so I will have to make a device member of this group manually. Well, this group is created. I can go to all groups and add a device to this group. I can see this group here, Contoso Developer Devices. I will open the group and add the members to this because the group membership was assigned. Later I will show you the dynamic group membership for the devices, how we can add the devices dynamically to a particular group. I will click on add members and this process is quite straightforward. I mean, like, you do the group membership for any users or devices in on-premises the same way you do it here. The device I'm going to search for is starting with Seattle, and Seattle Workstation 1 is the device that will be part of this group. I will choose the device and will select it. It will now become the direct member of this group. I can refresh it and check it. Now let me show you the dynamic group membership for the devices, how we control it based on the attributes. For that, I will create a group, and this group I'm creating for Windows devices. As per this scenario, I want the Windows devices to be added into this group. Well, for that I name this group as Windows devices, a friendly name. The group description you can provide here. From the assigned, I will select the dynamic device this time and will define the dynamic rule. I have two options. Either I can add the expression over here directly, or I can provide the rule syntax. I'm going to the edit and putting this rule syntax, and this is based on the device OS type attribute, and the operator is contains and the string value is Windows. So if the device operating system type contains Windows, regardless which window operating system it is, so it will become the member of this group. This is how I can configure it. Now you see that the expression part has been grayed out because I have used the rule syntax editor manually to configure it. Now I will create this group. Once the group is created, now I can either wait for some time to see that whether any device has become the member of it based on my uh, rule I have specified, the attributes, or I can validate this in advance that for a particular device whether this device will become the member of this group or not. So here you see members, this is empty, there is no member in this right now. I go to the dynamic membership rule once again here, and you see the expressions are grayed out, you can't configure them, so that's fine, where we have the rule syntax at the bottom that we configured it manually. Well, you can't do anything over here under the rule expressions, but yeah, here inside these expressions you could have selected an attribute and configured it in a graphical manner instead of a text that I provided in this. Well, we have the option to validate this rule that whether any particular device will become the member of this group or not. So for that I will add a device. Let's say this is Seattle Workstation 1. This is the device. And I want to validate that yes, whether it will become the member of it or not. And it qualifies the requirement of the criteria defined inside this expression. Well, this is the dynamic device membership based on the attributes of the devices. Here it was operating system type, contains Windows in it. Well, I'll go to the devices and then the configuration under the manage devices, the configuration profile we had. So I will collapse other blades to keep it short and visible. Under manage devices, I'll go to the configurations. I already have this profile, Contoso Developer Standard profile that I created. I will open this profile and will edit the settings of this in terms of assignment, because assignment was missing at that time of creation of the configuration. I just authored it or drafted it, but then later I will decide to assign this profile. So here when you go to the configuration and excuse me, I need to go back to the devices. I have come to the groups blade into it. So I'll go back to the devices and configuration profile. So configuration blade under manage devices, and there I have the profile. I will open it, and there we have the options to edit the profile settings. For an instance, you see basics, you can edit the scope tags, include groups, or the configuration settings like for control panel and few other settings were done. So I'm going to the assignments and editing the assignment. We have include and exclude. So you need to ensure that you are adding it into include the devices member of a particular group. So here we go with the Contoso Developer Devices and select. In fact, I can pick that Windows devices group also, because the device will become member of that, but that will take some time. So I'm taking the group where I have the assigned type of membership, which I manually assigned the Seattle Workstation 1 machine to this. Well, this is how the assignment takes place. My next requirement will be to validate this configuration on the client side. I will log in to the Workstation 1 machine, and I'm logging in with this user who joined this device to the Entra ID. This is user Aaron, and on this I will run the synchronization to start the sync cycle. I can do it from the client side or I can do it from the server side. Later we will see from the Intune side also I can force the sync. Here I will go to the accounts and then my work or school account connected to this organization. We'll click on Info Blade. where I have the sync button to start the synchronization. This synchronization process takes some time. It can take up to 15 minutes. So you need to have some patience to test these settings. As you see, the gaming is still here. It is not yet moved. It will take some time for the configuration to be applied on this device. For that, I will pause the video and will resume once this configuration is synchronized and the security policies or configuration policies have been applied on this device. Well, I go to the settings and see that there is no gaming option over here. If I go to privacy and Windows security for viruses and threat protection, and where we added the exclusion, so if I scroll to manage the settings for virus and threat protection and check for the exclusions, whether that excluded directory for C dev projects is there or not. So that is part of it. The configuration has been deployed. I can see the process also that has been excluded. If I see the start settings, the options have been grayed out, cannot be controlled. So this is as per the configuration we did from Windows. This is privacy and security that we have already tested. Now let us configure the settings again in the device configuration profile to modify few settings. And for that, I can go back to the configuration profile and edit this profile in terms of the configuration setting changes I need. So you already have seen that there are many edit buttons over there in this profile when you open. So configure settings, edit button is there, and anytime you can make changes to these settings as per your requirement, just like you do it in on-premises inside the group policy editor. So this is the configuration setting, and here for an instance, the privacy, I want this to be in the not configured state. I'll click on save to save the settings, and this time rather triggering the sync from this time. You see I have three settings. Gaming is not part of it this time. So gaming is there. Privacy has been removed from this. Only gaming is there. And for this time I will sync it from my device side. So this is my Windows device. And there at the top I have the control buttons on my device. So this is Seattle Workstation 1, where from I can retire, wipe, delete. What I need to do is forcefully synchronize the security policies that I want to apply on the device. I will click on yes, and it will initiate the sync to define these configuration settings on the device. And let us validate this configuration quickly by moving to this Windows client machine. I will again log into this workstation, Seattle Workstation machine, and we'll see that whether I can see the privacy this time. So privacy and security blade is there under the settings app as per the configuration. This is how we configure the Windows devices through the configuration profiles inside Intune, and we assign these profiles to the target devices. Here you go to the settings app and you can validate these settings. Well, so this is the end of this demonstration. I hope this was informative to you. Thanks for watching, and do subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for latest updates on my videos. Thanks for watching.